You ever notice how every can't fail 9mm list in 2026 ends up the same? Glock at the top, as if nothing else deserves a shot. Not today. This isn't about bashing Glock. It's about every shooter who's tired of being handed the same answer year after year. Let's say it. If Glock disappeared in 2026, most folks would be lost at the counter. So I spent the past year pushing everything else to the limit, looking for 9mm pistols that refuse to quit. No hype, no free rides, just real results in 2026's mess. These are the guns I'd bet my skin on if Glock didn't exist. No comparisons, no backhanded praise. And here's the deal. If you think you know what's coming, stick around for the last pick. It's the one pistol I almost gave up on until it pulled off something I didn't see coming. Don't skip this one. Ruger RXM isn't the gun you show off at the counter. Not only that, it was the best-selling gun of the month. But it's the one that keeps turning up when things go sideways. Last month, we had a downpour rolling in. Everyone packing up early. Mud everywhere, hands slick. A couple of the big-name pistols started choking on wet ammo. I wasn't in the mood for heroics. Just wanted to get some shooting done before the sky opened up. RXM comes out, filthy from riding shotgun in my truck all week, dust still in the slide from a job site run. No special treatment, mag gets slammed home, rack it, and it runs like nothing happened. Round after round, mix of cheap brass and half-rusted steel I should have thrown out. Never a hiccup, not a single feed issue. I didn't even clean it last time, figured I'd test my luck, and still couldn't get it to fail. There's nothing special about how it looks. Nothing about it says bet your life, but every time I think I should upgrade or get fancy, something like this happens. In a world of overhyped polymer, sometimes boring is what saves your day. RXM doesn't care about spotlight. It just works every single time. I've had my VP9 for years, and I always told myself maybe I just got lucky. Mine never jams, never fusses, always runs smooth. But late last year's October, right before Halloween, I caught wind of a sale out past the edge of town. Ended up wandering into this old pawn shop, the kind that still smells like dust and motor oil, run by a bald guy who knows everyone's story before you say a word. On impulse, I asked to borrow his VP9, one that's been cycled through God knows how many hands, beat up, barely cleaned, finish worn down from holster rides, and years of work. The itch was simple. Was it just my gun that ran perfect, or does every VP9 do the trick? Took that battered pistol to the range, ran a box of the cheapest ammo I had, then another. Quick drills, slow strings, just trying to trip it up. I was wiped by the end. Hungry, hands sore, honestly tired of shooting. The gun, it didn't care. Not a single hiccup, returned it to the pawn shop and drove home knowing it wasn't luck. VP9 ends just work. Plain and simple. But the next gun on this list, it's got a reputation for being too new to trust. And that's where things get interesting. I know a bunch of you are going to ask about the Echelon. Yeah, I own one. And yeah, it's what I've been carrying lately. I trust it enough for daily use, and I've put a decent number of rounds through mine since launch, but you'll notice it's not on this list. There's a reason for that. The Echelon is still new, too new, if we're being honest, to say it's earned won't let you down in 2026 status. That takes years of mistakes, abuse, bad ammo, and long days that don't make it into magazine ads or most people's stories at the gun counter. I'll be straight. My Echelon hasn't failed me yet, but it also hasn't been through the kind of dirty, no cleaning, bad ammo months that every other gun on this list survived. Until I can tell that story, it's not honest to put it here. This video isn't about what I carry today. It's about pistols that already proved they won't let you down. Some of these picks are ugly, some aren't trendy, some I don't even like all that much, but they're here because I or someone I trust has seen them eat hell and keep going. I want the Echelon to earn its place here. Maybe it will. But for now, it's time for the pistols that already survived the worst. Many people will try to convince you this pistol isn't reliable, that it's the one that fails when you need it most. I've heard the talk at shops and ranges, The warnings about don't trust an APX, usually from folks who've never run a full box through one. Honestly, I almost listened. I almost left it on the shelf, figuring there had to be something to the rumors. But first time out, the APX A1 shut all that noise down. Slide racks back like it's gliding on bearings, recoils a whisper, shots stack up exactly where you want them. I ran it hard. Quick strings, slow, deliberate groups. Didn't even bother cleaning between drills. Still ran smooth. No malfunctions, no drama. It became the pistol I kept reaching for. Not because it shouts for attention, but because it handles everything with the kind of quiet confidence you can actually rely on. Buddy started calling it the smooth operator, and the name stuck. It's not the flashiest gun in the case, but when you need a pistol that just works quietly, calmly, every single time, the APX A1 is the one you want riding on your hip. But if you think smooth means safe or boring, wait till you see what happens when a polymer underdog comes out swinging next. The only Glock killer that never killed its owner. That's the line I kept hearing. Half as a joke, half as a dare. Because every year some pistol rolls in promising to dethrone Glock, and most wind up choking, cracking, or blowing up their own hype along the way. I figured the Dagger was the same. Cheap, loud, and destined to break before 2026 ever got here. But I got my hands on one, told myself I'd run it rough and watch it fail. Rattled through dirty ammo, swapped mags quick, dropped it in the dust more than once, still kept shooting, triggers clean. For what you pay, recoil feels familiar. Slide never hung up, not even after I left it gritty and grimy on purpose. I've seen guys treat theirs worse, hoping to catch a malfunction for bragging rights, but it just kept cycling. Nobody got burned, nobody left the range with a busted hand. The Dagger's not a headline hunter, it just picked up the Glock killer label and quietly outlived the joke. If you need a pistol in 2026 that truly won't let you down, even after all the hype dies, the Dagger is still standing, still running, and that's the only kind of killer I'll trust. Some guns are like that last dance at a New Year's party. You don't plan on remembering it, but when the lights come on, it's the only one still there. Steady, never missed a beat. The FN 509 was never my trophy gun. I never babied it, never logged the rounds, barely remembered to wipe it down after the range. Half the time, it bounced between the safe and the truck, just filling space in the lineup. Truth is, it's not the lightest to carry, and it never put a grin on my face. Just did its job, no drama. There wasn't a grand test, no heroic moment or dramatic jam. It just faded into the background, did its job without a word. While other pistols begged for attention, the 509 kept cycling, loading, firing, landing rounds, and never complaining. I didn't talk about it much because I didn't have to. Looking back, it's kind of the point. You remember the drama queens and the headaches? The one you never worried about? That's who you count on at the end of the night. Some guns earn their keep by never letting you forget them. The 509 quietly earned its place by never giving me a reason to doubt it, even when I wasn't paying attention. But the next gun? That's the one nobody calls subtle. Because sometimes a little brute force is exactly what the lineup needs. End of the day, out of gas, just dumping the last handful of rounds. I borrowed a buddy's TS2, mine was already packed away. Didn't mess with sights or mags, just loaded and shot. Wasn't even thinking about the gun, just getting through it. Not my pistol. Not set up for me. If anything was going to act up, it'd be now. My grip was lazy. I was half paying attention, kind of hoping the gun would pick up the slack. To be honest, I didn't care about the groups or the feel. I just wanted to be done. Every excuse was on the table, and the TS2 didn't care about a single one of them, but it didn't flinch. Every time I drifted or cut a corner, the results went off, but the gun never did. The TS2 is one of those pistols that never covers for you. Whatever mess you bring to the table, it just hands right back. It's consistent, sure, but never warm, never forgiving. On my worst days, it didn't get worse. It just stayed honest, never once trying to hide my mistakes. I don't get excited about it. I don't reach for it first. But I can't remember the last time I doubted what would happen when I pulled the trigger. Sometimes that's all the trust you need. This one's mine, my everyday sidearm, always riding in my special holster. Close enough that I could grab it half asleep. It's the pistol I trust more than anything else I own. I've taken it everywhere. Range sessions where I pushed it fast and dirty, practice out in the field. No, I haven't actually pulled that trigger. Nobody's gotten unlucky, and I'd like to keep it that way. The Shield Plus just fits my routine. The draw's automatic, the weight disappears, never snags, and the grip is like shaking hands with an old friend. It's not the gun I brag about, but it's the one I count on when things get uncertain or the day feels off. Honestly, I hope I never have to find out how it performs under real pressure, but I trust it because it's earned that trust every single day. In every scenario, I could throw at it. That's why it's here. If a pistol's good enough to be at my side, it's good enough to make this list. Maybe it'll do the same for you. And I'll tell you this, if you've made it this far, you know I don't hand out trust easy. The next pistol on this list is the only one I ever tried to hate and just couldn't. Stick around. You might end up questioning your own choices, too. Let's get this straight. My local range instructor, Jeet, isn't the kind of guy who hands out compliments or goes easy on gear. He's watched me cycle through more pistols than I care to count. Always got a smart comment, always calling out hype when he sees it. So when he spotted me with the Masada, he couldn't help himself. Bet you $20 that thing won't survive a full day in my hands, he said. The deal was simple. If it jammed, hiccuped, or even hesitated, I owed him the cash and a week of hearing about it. G took my Masada and put it through hell. Drills, mag dumps, offhand shots, dragging it through dust, loading whatever garbage ammo he had on hand. No cleaning, no coddling. I spent the day just waiting to see him stroll over grinning, waving a broken slide or a stuck around. But next morning he handed it back with a $20 bill tucked in the case. Gun was dirty, beat up, but still running. No jams, no stoppages, nothing he could hold over me. I didn't gloat, didn't act surprised. The Masada just proved what I couldn't. If my instructor can't kill it, neither will 2026. A lot of guns that were hot in 2024 and 2025 are gone now. Discontinued, recalled, priced into the clouds, or exposed for quirks nobody wanted to admit. The Micro 9's still here. I'll be honest, I figured it would be next on the chopping block. Felt too polished, too boutique. Not really built for the kind of mess we got last year with supply chains and sudden rule changes. But through all that, the Micro 9 just kept showing up. When other brands started pulling models or jacking up prices, the Kimber stuck around. I never once had to hunt for parts, never worried about magazines or springs drying up. I carried it through back orders, price spikes, the kind of store shelves that made you double take. Every time I slid it into a pocket or holster, it felt exactly the same as the first day. No rattles, no drama, no surprise quirks after another year of carry. It's not the gun I expected to outlast the shakeups, but here we are. Still shooting, still easy to live with. If this little thing can keep surviving, maybe I should start betting on a few more underdogs. Some guns just hang around longer than anyone expects. With the Taurus G2C, I figured once the next model hit, the support would dry up. Stores would stop carrying parts, magazines would disappear, and finding a decent holster would turn into a headache. That's usually how it goes. New model gets all the love and the last one gets forgotten. But the G2C never got left behind. Even now, I still see mags and holsters everywhere. Gun shops, pawn counters, random boxes at the range. You want parts? They're on the shelf. Need a new mag? No back order, no special order. Just grab and go. Doesn't matter if you're swapping out a worn spring or just want a backup mag for the glove box. You don't have to hunt or overpay. The best part is you don't get stuck fighting with after-sales service or chasing some rep who's looking into it. The G2C never stranded me. Never left me without what I needed to keep it running. It might not be the trendiest, and it's definitely not the flashiest, but sometimes the best gun is the one that's always ready and never gives you trouble. I was out past Lubbock last month, one of those side road gun shops with old wood floors and a coffee can full of spent brass on the counter. No neon banners, no sponsored posters. I wasn't looking for anything fancy, just stopped in because it was there. Guy behind the counter barely looked up, just nodded me over. First thing I noticed, sitting in the case, a Walther Q4 SF. No price drop, no special deal, no hard sell. Walked into a place outside Amarillo 2 weeks later, same deal, Q4 SF, writes in the case, no fanfare. Hit Abilene on the way back, just for kicks, and saw another one. Nobody was making a pitch. Nobody even brought it up, unless you asked. But every time I checked, inventory moved. Another one gone, another on the way. Dealers keep ordering more because shooters in places like this keep coming back for it. Out here, shelf space doesn't go to anything with a track record for trouble. If a pistol hangs around through all the new launches, all the short supply, all the market hype, it's because buyers rely on it and tell others to do the same. In 2026, after all the noise, you can still find a Q4 SF ready for action. For me, that says more than any sales pitch. Last year, January, exactly this time, my old friend Lawrence was walking home from his office in Philadelphia. It was late, streetlights flickering, nobody around. He was tired, ready to be done for the day, just minding his own business. Out of nowhere, a guy steps out of the shadows, knife in hand. Nothing between them but empty pavement and bad intentions. Lawrence isn't some action hero. He's a regular guy with a regular job. But that night he had his P365X Macro on his belt. Even with his heart pounding, the draw was natural, compact, easy to get out fast, and big enough to send a message without saying a word. The sight of that pistol was enough. The guy with the knife thought twice and bolted, disappearing down the block. Not a shot fired, no headline, just a man who made it home safe. Lawrence called me after, still shaken, more grateful than proud. Told me later the incident was reported to the local South District Police. The cops took it seriously. No drama, no heroics, just the right tool in the right moment. Sometimes a gun that won't let you down isn't the one that racks up stats. It's the one that's simply there when you need it most. For him, the X Macro was exactly that. Every range has a few range boys, the loud crowd that always wants something new and shiny. For years, the Beretta 92X Performance was the gun they left in the rental case or joked about as your dad's competition piece. Too heavy, too old school, not tactical enough for their Instagram feeds. I watched it get passed over for plastic wonders and custom triggers more times than I can count. But then came a real match, and something shifted. The Beretta's smooth cycling, dead flat recoil, and stone-cold reliability started racking up hits, even with the cheapest ammo in the house. Mag after mag, it just kept punching holes and taking the lead, while the next-gen stuff jammed or failed under pressure. Suddenly the jokes faded, and the range boys were asking to try a few strings themselves. It never needed hype or a fresh paint job. Sometimes the gun you count out early is the one left standing at the end, quietly winning while everyone else talks. The 92X Performance proved it the hard way. This gun doesn't need any new introduction. It's been around, it's been tested, and most folks who've owned one just nod and move on. You don't see it under glass or on magazine covers. It's the pistol that gets passed along in real life. Somebody needs a loaner for a road trip, a backup for the glove box, or a last-minute answer when plans change. The P10C just shows up, no drama. I've seen this gun passed from one hand to another, swapped at meetups, or just quietly left in a toolbox for months. It doesn't come back with excuses, repairs, or complaints. No one's ever fussing about a lost part or a weird malfunction. It's just there, working, every single time. It isn't the gun anyone brags about, but nobody's ever let it go for long either. The strongest proof is silence. No hype, no issues, just reliability that keeps moving quietly through real shooters' lives. Some of you are probably itching to argue, saying no list is complete without Glock. That's fine, But if you made it to the end of this video, you saw how a pistol I almost walked away from wound up taking the top spot in 2026. Sometimes the gun you nearly ignore is the one that saves you when nothing else will. Now it's your turn. Which non-Glock pistol shocked you, earned your trust, or made you second-guess the old favorites? I want the stories that hurt a little. The ones you tell at the range, not just online. Drop them below. If you're still convinced nothing else matches up, good. That means you're still in the fight, same as me. Next video, we're pulling apart even more myths. I'm Steve, and this search is never over. Enough talked. Now I've got to finish the Stranger Things finale.